Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the MMA Huddle, and you are back with myself and Big Willie style, and we are going to break down the UFC Copenhagen card, which is going to be an absolute banger, some cracking fights, and we are looking forward to doing our picks and breakdowns. And of course, at the end of this, we'll give you some hints and tips towards bets. I will throw in idiotic comments about what you could bet on, and will snicker. But before we jump onto that, let's just go to Riba, Mexico City, where we just had a UFC card with one of the most enthralling main events for a while. The Crowd versus Jeremy Stephens. Will, anything from the card other than the atrocious behaviour from the fans that you kind of take away from it?
It's just a shame about the main event, because when I actually stayed up to watch it, because it was finishing like an hour and a half kind of earlier than it usually would have, and I was when they were coming to the cage, I was actually really hyped for the fight. I thought this is going to be a lot of fun, and then it just kind of went downhill from the second the fight started, which was really unfortunate. And then just like some of the things that happened afterwards, obviously with the fans, and I can see why the fans would be angry with what happened, because if they're paying a lot of money, and I'm sure it wasn't cheap to get into an event like that, but this can happen in any MMA fight. It just so happened in the main event, which was really unfortunate. And then like just some of the things afterwards, like Yair Rodriguez, I was like, what is he playing at? Like, what is he doing? And then he's saying a whole load of mad shit, and like Stephens, he's had like 30 fights in the UFC. He's like, that guy's not a bitch.
No.
He's not going to do that unless something was up. And then just like it was crazy, a crazy thing that happened. But even then, the last three fights in that card were crazy. Like the Grasso and Esparza fight, great fight. I think they were saying Esparza was getting splashed with beer before she was even coming to the cage and stuff like that, which is a little crazy. And I've heard people saying, oh, they'll never go back to Mexico, and I was just like, guys, they're building two UFC performance institutes there. They're going to be going back to Mexico. If they're putting stuff into that country, they're going to be expecting stuff back. So, it was like, I really enjoyed what fight was it? Moreno Askarov. I thought it was a great fight.
Yeah.
Really good fight. I actually think it was the right decision. I thought a draw was not a bad card at all. I know there's a lot of people kicking off because they thought Moreno should have won, and for me, I thought Askarov. I think actually when I was watching it, I did edge Moreno, but I thought the first two rounds were so close, especially the first, that I thought this could potentially be a draw. So I wasn't mad at that. I'd actually like to see a rematch with them too. I thought it was a great fight. But yeah, it was an okay card. There was some really nice finishes. Steven Peterson knockout. Oh my goodness.
That spinning back fist. Ooh, like a counter to spinning back fist.
He was just a little. He countered that thing absolutely perfect, and it's that might be up there for my favourite knockout of the year. I think it's a big knockout, especially one that he lost the first round. Jobs on the line, probably comes out there with that kind of exceptional finish. But overall, I thought it was an okay card. It was. I really like to say. I think I had my eyes on this card in Copenhagen way before I did like the Mexico one. I really like the Copenhagen card, but Mexico, it was okay. It's nice to see them go back down there, and because you can hear the fans, they're rabid for the sport down there. You can hear it the way they are just watching the fights. But it was okay overall, and it was just soured a little bit by the finish in the main event. So hopefully they can run it back, because I think it's a fight that I'm actually invested in. There's going to be more people with eyes on it if they do make the rematch again. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see a rematch. I agree with you. It'd be good to just get on a card, any card in the next, say, 3 months. Depending on, I don't know the extent of Jeremy's eye, so it's not fair. Because if, for example, his eye isn't 100%, maybe Ortega and Yari could fight instead. Well,
from what I'm hearing, maybe tomorrow, Mr. Ortega is going to have a fight announcement. So. This is going to be in South Korea against a certain Korean.
Sorry, Korean Zombie. Yes, sorry, I did hear rumours of that on Twitter, but yeah.
I think, from all intents and purposes, now I could look like an asshole if you're watching this later on in the week and there's nothing been announced, but the people that I kind of talk to that break in some fights and stuff, they're saying that this fight's pretty strongly probably going to be made for South Korea, and I think it's the 21st of December. So
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the week after Holloway and Volkanovski. So would that work out really well if
yeah,
Volkanovski or Holloway were to be injured?
yeah. So they have someone round about that. I think it's a great fight, by the way. I'm looking forward to seeing both those guys back, actually. So yeah,
Yeah. They both had some wars in the last two fights, so
yeah.
the pair of them. So it'd be good to see that fight. Yeah, it'd be violent, and like you said, Holloway, Volkanovski got announced officially, even though it was kind of already everyone knew it was going to happen. It was just weird when they officially announced it.
Yeah, that's a great fight, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I think Holloway is in for a rough, rough fight.
Yeah, I think first few rounds, Holloway's going to have a rough one.
We're miles out, but I think Volkanovski's got the bits in him to maybe take this belt off Holloway, which is going to be a big ask, but I think he can potentially get it done. So yeah,
Yeah, that power's something that can catch people out with. That wrestling, that grinding that he can do. It's just if he can keep it for 5 rounds. That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Holloway's got the cardio to just pepper you. Can Holloway just maybe outwear him? But you never know. We'll find out. We'll certainly see. But we're going to go over to the UFC Copenhagen card, like we said before, ladies and gentlemen. Do feel free to hit that subscribe button down below and give us a follow. The more love, the better. And we're going to kick off the card with what we have, the kind of structure we have. We're still a bit perplexed about the coming event, but we'll believe it for now. We have Jack Shaw against Nohelen Hernandez. Will, what are you looking forward to in this matchup? A debut for Jack Shaw as well in the UFC.
well, that's what I'm looking forward to. Is Jack Shaw getting his big opportunity? Who's if you know of Jack Shaw, or if you don't, young kid he's just undefeated in the amateur ranks, undefeated in the pro ranks. Nice kid. His dad's a good trainer. He's trained them all. He's trained a lot of the guys that's come out of Wales. And we've had eyes on Jack Shaw coming through in Cage Warriors for years. And now he's got his opportunity in the big leagues, and it's going to be interesting to see how he does. I remember clapped-eyes, I think it was 2014, in Vegas, weirdly enough. I was there, and obviously they have their expos, but they had the amateurs, the IMAFFs, I think that's what they're called. And he was fighting there, and of course I sat down for, I want to say, 2.5 hours probably, watch fights. Jack was on there, fought there, and then we've seen him at events ever since, and we've seen his progression. All his fights are in Cage Warrior, so they're all in Fight Pass, pretty much, majority of them. So you can go and watch this kid, and he's a super, super talented young guy coming through. He's, like I say, invested everything into the sport. A grappler, I think his grappling stands out. When you watch him, his grappling is really, really good. His striking came along as his kind of fight careers went on, but you can see where his bread and butter is. Once he gets it to the ground, he's very heavy. He positions himself very well. He looks for submissions. He tires the guys out, and he'll get. Usually, he gets opportunities, and when he gets them, he takes them. I was really actually impressed with Hernandez in his UFC debut, coming in short notice. I thought he looked really. I thought he showed a lot of heart. I thought he was showed a lot of kind of drive against Chito Vera. Took some shots, but once you seen him get taken to the ground, you seen that Vera had the better ground game, and I think Jack Shaw's got a better ground game than Chito Vera personally. If they two were to be in ground transitions or whatever it may be, the fight that really put me on to Jack Shaw, what I really liked, what I seen was the Ekindale fight. I thought his grappling in that one, because Ekindale's a really good grappler himself, came through that, and he looked fantastic in that fight. That's when I thought, right, that's when he's ready. But then he defended his belt against Scott Malone. I've got Jack.
Another solid test as well.
Yeah. Well, he's not fighting cans. He's fighting guys that have come up through the scene that are undefeated, and he's taking them out. So he's pretty much cleared out I don't want to say cleared out, but he's beat a vast majority of the good 135ers to take the belt down there. I think the big advantage here, I think Hernandez has him in the feet a little bit, but I think Jack will get takedowns, and I think once he gets takedowns, I don't think Hernandez is going to get back up, and I think he's going to get submitted. So I've got Jack Shaw to win his UFC debut via submission, and I've got him inside the distance probably as well. I think he'll get him out of there.
Well, if he's going to get a submission, he's going to get inside the distance. But like you say, he's banned because he fought at 145 for a while in the pros. Then he made a decision to go down to 135, and I think it was Aiden Lee. Who was it? No, Vaughan Lee. Sorry, his debut at 135. Vaughan Lee UFC veteran of MMA, super experienced, talented guy, and he handled himself pretty well considering his debut at 135. He did all right in that fight, and Avonlea is no joke. So that was kind of a good. That was a big marker, and I think that was a big step up for your first time at 135. Since, like you say, Jack has shown his boxing is with Gary Lockett, the pro boxing coach. Trains all the kind of high-level pro boxers in a load of high-level guys in the UK. So if you're into your boxing, you'll know who that is. He trains there with him specifically to hone his skills in, and you do see his hands coming along greatly.
Yep.
You know, Jack's hands are coming along a lot better. I would, obviously his Muay Thai is developing. He is doing a lot of Muay Thai work as well. That's only one thing I'd like to see, just because I don't want to be a bit front heavy on that front leg for opportunities for leg kicks and takedowns. One thing I noticed with Hernandez was when he does get taken down, though, he is quite calm. He is quite calm on his back, and he does show decent ground and pound. I think his stronger facet is definitely on the feet. I just think Jack will engage the fight to start with on the feet, because he's probably very comfortable now, but then when the opportunity arrives for those takedowns, he will take the opportunity for them, and he's got a very good heavy ground game, but he also throws good ground and pound, Jack Shaw. He does throw and that's one thing a lot of guys don't do. Some guys like to hold, some guys like to look for subs. Jack will just start throwing the punches and then reset and keep going. I'm with you as well, Will. I'm going for a submission win or TKO on the ground with ground and pound, but I'm going to go for Jack Shaw with the finish. I think this is the perfect fight for Jack. It's a great way to break him in. I think the UFC should, build this guy up the right way. Give him the right fights to build his career. He is young, and he could be a huge star in that promotion. You've got Jack Shaw, and now you've got Brett Johns in the 135 division from Wales. Great additions, great stuff for the Welsh as well. And next up we have is Lando Venata against Mark Diakiese. Now that fight has just got fun written all over it. Let's be brutally honest. I think Mark Diakiese going home was a big marker for him in his last fight against Joe Duffy. Going home, getting back to basics. And it kind of basically they were able to give him more focused attention. But what I think the greatest thing was they just told him, let's cut the shit out. Let's just stick to what you're good at. Stick to your basics. There's no point in doing the flash stuff if you miss it. And he does. That's one thing about Mark Diakiese. He did miss a lot of the flashy stuff. It looks nice, jumping in the air, but if you're not landing it, it's wasted energy and effort, and that can obviously have an effect in the second or third round. I think Mark Diakiese did the right thing. Calf kicks, huge thing. Calf kicks, big difference in that Joe Duffy fight. Absolutely could have won. I thought Mark Diakiese could have got that fight stopped with leg kicks if he'd bothered putting the effort in a bit more in the second and third round, really pushed it onto there. His counter striking was really good as well for Mark Diakiese. Nice head movement. I think Lando Venata is a perfect kind of opponent for Mark Diakiese because Lando takes he takes a hit. Lando gets hit. He does take risks himself. I think that calf kicks are going to be there for Mark Diakiese. His footwork's really good footwork. He's just got to be a bit more productive with the output. So, be not trying to do explosive output. Just be a bit more effective. Use a jab a bit more. Set up your leg kicks, the calf kicks. Slow Lando Venata down so he's more of a target for him to use the flashy stuff. If you use the calf kicks to do the flashy stuff, then you've got a more stationary target. Lando Venata, though, he likes to throw the spinning kicks. He likes to throw the big swings. He likes the stuff. He's open to counter right. Lando Venata, a lot of times I noticed on his striking, so it's very open to stuff like that. He is going to be an exciting fight. You've got to be careful with Lando. He can get hurt in the first and come back in a second with a bit more of aggression. He showed that in the Frivola fight is a great example. When Frivola you thought was going to finish him. I think Diakiese just needs to make sure his cardio's there. He should outlast this. I've got Diakiese decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he can get a finish. But I'm going to go Diakiese decision win.
Yeah, the Diakiese and the Duffy fight was the Diakiese I thought was the guy I was looking for him to kind of become. Have the flashy stuff, but have the basics there, because he can obviously do the basics really well, and not taking away. Going to American Top Team, if you've got the opportunity to go to a facility like that, you've got to take it, I think, to try and maybe just get better. You're living in the place, so you're going to learn things. You're definitely, but it doesn't work for everybody either, so it obviously didn't work for him. But in saying that, his matchups were really, in hindsight, when you look back at them now, were really tough matchups. Drakkar Klose, he's calling out Gregor Gillespie, looking at getting at that top 15. Dan Hooker, he's been at a kind of revelation at 155. That was a tough fight. And Haqparast, he's going to be a top 15 guy because his striking is so pure and fast that he's a dangerous guy, and he showed it in that fight as well. That's where it really came in to like showing how good he is. But when you look at Diakiese, he's obviously got the explosive shit, that everything there, but he can mix it up. I've always thought he's been a really good wrestler with well-timed takedowns, and I think Lando's got the probably better wrestling pedigree of the two. At least you would think coming up, and he's probably wrestled a lot more than what Diakiese has, but he pretty much gets takedown in every UFC fight that you've seen, except for the first couple there. But his last 4 or 5 fights, he took down Tamar, he took down Bobby Green, he took down Drakkar Klose, Frivola as well, and obviously his last win against that guy who has absolutely no right whatsoever been in the UFC. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very close start of this fight. I think whose gas tank can keep up better, because both guys have shown tendencies of kind of fading a little bit. But I think Vannata, when he fades, he is so hittable. Super, super hittable. And I don't think he's going to get away with that with someone like Diakiese, who might be a little bit faster with those combinations later on, and will get takedowns off him as well. So I've got Diakiese to kind of win via unanimous decision, getting takedowns, and he might get popped back up to his feet for that. But I think that even on the feet, Diakiese can land big, powerful strikes. So I've got Diakiese for the win via UD here.
Nice, well, nice. The next up we have in the women's bantamweight division, Macy Chiasson against Lina Landsberg. Well, I know this fight is going to be fun for someone. What are you looking forward to, bro?
Yeah, Macy Chiasson, I think, is going to win this fight. Now, last time out, I think Lina Landsberg, I said that... I want to say, who was she against again? I've totally forgot. Tonya Evinger.
Tonya Evinger, yeah.
I went into that fight thinking Evinger was actually going to handle Landsberg a little bit with a grapple. It didn't turn out that way at all. And Landsberg got a big, big victory in Sweden. I think that's probably going to be the highlight, is her getting that win in Sweden, in my opinion. They're building Macy Chiasson up here. They are. And what we've seen her so far, she's looked fantastic since she came off the tough show. Even on the tough show.
Yeah, she was good, yeah.
And people were calling her to stay at 145, and I'm like, well, Amanda Nunes has got both belts anyway, so why not kind of move down and go down to 135? And she's obviously a big girl. She had trouble last time cutting the weight, but I think that was on a short notice, like 4 or 5 weeks, where this one here, she's had a full camp. And at this point in the game, it's really hard fading the camp that she's coming from, because that camp is on fire at the minute. Fortis MMA is like the big gym, I think, of 2019 that came through. Don't get all that much credit. So it's even hard just like fading that gym at the minute. But when you look at the matchup, I think she's better on the ground. I think she's faster with the striking. I think she's more powerful. I think that Landsberg's slow. I think she doesn't wear the damage very well. I think Macy Chiasson's going to get her out of there in the first couple of rounds. So I've got a win via stoppage.
Yeah, I think Lina wants to make this an ugly fight if she's got any hope of winning this. Lina needs to get the fight in the clinch up against the cage and just trying to grind it out. She's not going to get that for 15 minutes. Macy's going to be able to get the reversal, get the break, even reverse to a takedown or a sweep. And if it goes on the ground, I think Macy has, like you say, the submission game on her to probably even put it onto Lina. But man, I want to see how Lina reacts to those hands landing on her, because Macy, that girl cracks. And when she starts to tighten up her striking a little bit more and a little bit more, in time, it will come. That striking's going to be scary. Oh, that girl's going to hit so hard and so crisp. And I reckon she's going to just spark girls with one hit. That girl hits so hard. I'm looking forward to seeing what Macy has got in her tank. Like you say, longer fight camp, man. I can't wait to see this. She's just an exciting prospect for the bantamweight division and a great addition, you know. And I think they're giving her the right fights like this with Lina Landsberg, the kind of right fights to build her up. So I'd like to see this. I'd even give her someone like Tonya Evinger as well after, you know. That's a good name to have on your record, someone like Tonya. You know, Tonya, she's a great kind of representative of the sport, and she'd be enough one feather in the cap. But yeah, I've got Macy here. I think she can probably stop Lina here with TKO. I think just like crack her, drop her, land on ground and pound and get a stoppage in. So I'm going Macy all day. I think Lina, there's one way for her to win, and that's with the grappling up against the cage, but I just don't think she's going to be able to keep Macy there. Next up, we have in the featherweight division, bro. Brendan Dave. In fact, I'll rephrase this. It's disgusting that this fight has even been made, but it's happening. Brendan Davis is fighting short notice at featherweight because he needs a bit of time to make bantamweight against Giga Chikadze, who is, by the way, fighting can after can. He is a can crusher, if there is ever a can crusher. Now, don't get me wrong, he's done K1, Glory, all that jazz, but when it comes to MMA, he has not faced anyone with a winning record, and it's a preposterous record that his opponents have all had. Well, I'm not a fan of the fight. I know Giga's managed by the terrorist anyway, so what do you expect? But, man, I'm just so annoyed about this. But I'm going to go with Brendan Davis, simply because it's disgusting that a guy get signed up to this. They've given him Brendan because Brendan's a striker. Brendan not known for really going for the ground grappling kind of thing, but I think Brendan's got a decent chin on him. He does get hit, but he's actually got good striking on his own. And I think after going to the UFC Performance Institute himself a few times, he's kind of tightened things up a little bit on himself, conditioning wise, nutrition and body and physique. He looked fantastic at 135 in my opinion. I think he should stay at 135. I thought he looked great there, but I think he can do 145. He's done it before in the past. He's managed to do 145. And I think it's an ideal fight. I think he can. If I was Brendan, I'd just be sneaking those takedowns on this guy, because that's all this guy. This guy can't do it. He can't handle takedowns. Can't handle the ground. Does not like being on the ground. Just wants to stay standing. I know Brendan wants to just have a fight and bang, but mate, I'd just be like, right, I'm gonna throw the script out, get you down and wrestle you. But man, I just can't pick this guy. He's just a can crusher. I don't like it. It's disgusting that he gets in there. I'm gonna go Brendan all day.
Yeah, the only thing kind of worry I've got here is if he decides to stand and bang him, because if he does, then he could be outgunned a little bit, because Chikadze is actually really, really decent way of striking. But like you said, you don't. Everybody out there can go and find who Chikadze's went and faced, and it's not good viewing who he's beaten and so on. Shouldn't be in this spot. But the kind of other thing that's really a bit worrisome here is Brendan Davis only fought like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, and he went to a close split decision, a hard 15 minutes. But they kind of made it out. Dominic Cruz was like, what's he actually getting better at by cutting that weight? So moving down to 135, which is actually a great point. Like, what is he? Is he actually getting better, or is he just running? Because he was running like a marathon every day to kind of make that weight. So what's he really improving on? Fought a tough fight. I thought the right guy won. I'm not going to pick this newcomer coming into the UFC here. Davis, if he wants to win the fight, I think it's pretty clear that if he mixes it up, he wins this fight. Just don't be silly. Don't play into the hands of Giga. And he should win this fight. So I've got Brendan Davis, maybe via submission, more likely a decision though.
Yeah, fingers crossed everyone, because we want Giga out of here as quick as possible. 0-3, thank you. Next up we have in the welterweight division, an interesting matchup. Will, I look forward to hearing your take on this one. Siyar Bahadurzada. Do you know what? I practice that all the time, and when it comes to it, I can never spit it out. I always double guess and second guess myself. I hate it when this happens. I'm crap with names. Unless it's mine, I'm crap. Ismail Naurdiev. Will, cracking bout. It's going to be fun. I know who I'm looking at, but who are you thinking?
It's a really, really good fight. Actually, I think it's going to be. This is more a matchup. I'm not going to say. I think I picked him against Chance for Encounter, but Chance is actually really tough. Like, he's hard nosed, takes a shot well, very aggressive in getting takedowns, and very hard to get off you once he gets you in that spot. So fair play to that kid. But like, Naurdiev's only 23, 24 years old, not even that.
Yeah.
I think it's 23. I remember looking at. So he's still a young guy. He's fought a lot. He's like 22 fights in now. So, and he's facing someone in Siyar here who's been around for years. Like, he's been around for a long, long, long time. Used to call himself the Afghan Killer. Had a bit of a reputation. Yeah. He kind of had a bit of a reputation when he came to the UFC. But all in all, we haven't really seen that much of Siyar. He takes these big long breaks, but he's always dangerous. I think that as the fight careers kind of went on, he's decided to kind of use more of his tools, because he was kind of known as a devastating striker. He came out of Holland, when he first went to the UFC. Even before that, he was knocking people out, and I don't want to say the regionals, but like in Brazil and devastating striking, get a lot of like early stoppages. And since he's currently, I mean, he's been in the UFC for 7 years, and he's only fought like 7 times. So think of that way. He doesn't really fight all that often. Lost to Curtis Millender last time, which is a little bit, which is not great because if you can take Curtis Millender down, you're probably going to win the fight. And he did get takedowns in that fight. He just didn't really capitalise on them on the strike. He was just like outmatched a little bit, and that's kind of where I'm a little bit iffy here because Naurdiev is a striker and he's a very explosive, good striker with a lot of kind of athletic ability as well. And we've seen, I think it was in the first round against Encounter, he tried to get taken down and like really shifted his hips well, was very quick in not getting taken down, but eventually he did get taken down. So yeah, it's one of these fights that I think Siyar's going to be obviously at a speed disadvantage. I think he's dangerous though. I think if Ismail was to not respect his striking, he could end up getting caught with a shot. But if I'm Siyar here, I'm trying to get takedowns and trying to keep the kid there because you can see that the guy's got a deficiency on the ground. I fancy taking a shot on Siyar on this spot. I don't know. I'm not super impressed with what I've seen from Naurdiev. And like I say, he is a really, really young kid. He's going to make big improvements. But I'll take a shot on Siyar Bahadurzada to get him down numerous times in this fight, but I'm a little bit worried if he starts kind of gassing late in the fight as well, that he might start eating shots because Naurdiev's very, very quick and he's very explosive with his striking. So I'll take Siyar. I'll actually pick him via submission. Nah, I'll go decision. I'll go a very, very close decision win for Siyar.
Has Siyar ever had a submission win in MMA?
Yeah, Brandon Thatch.
Oh gosh, Brandon Thatch. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Remember when people made a big thing about him?
Yeah.
Oh my word.
See main event, remember?
Gosh, yeah. That was absolutely awful. He's had two
nice
submissions.
Nice guy as well, by the way. Really, really nice guy. But yeah, got far too quick.
Yeah. They made a big. He was like the Todd Duffy kind of version where they just projected this guy up way too quick. You're like, dude, you need to build him before you sell him. And they did not do that. They let Brendan burn bad. Yes, I hear, man. That's his issue, man. He's like once a year. What is going on? I can't get my head around it. He's 36 now. What does he think he's doing? Like he's not getting a UFC title shot. Simple as that now. That's well out the window. So he's just there to get paychecks and just fight here and there. So you got a guy who's trucking along. That's all Siyar's doing now. He's trucking along. You got a kid who's hungry. That kind of plays a factor for me, the hunger side of things. Ismail definitely got a speed advantage on the feet. I think fight IQ can play a factor in this. Experience and fight IQ. I think Ismail's fought. So obviously, he's had a few fights, but I think when you fight guys, he's got the maturity and the experience where he can maybe just go, okay, I'm just going to play it safe, counter his timings. Because the first round, I think Ismail could absolutely just go first round, speed, land some shots, get out there. If I'm saying, I want to time myself on him. I want to get used to his combinations because he'll have a set combination little book that he'll do where he'll do like 3 or 4 set combinations and he'll probably use them repetitively in the fight. When you start getting those timings down for those, that's when you start to say he's got he's got heavy hands and he hits hard. So if he can just time it, he could really hurt Ismail and get him, like you say, maybe wobble him for the takedown. I want to say that, but how is Siyar's timing? Because he's so infrequent. That fight time, having that timing in a fight is not really something that's there that often. So he fought in December last year, then it was like April, September. Gosh, he's fought like so sporadic. He's not getting a lot of consistency. I'm torn on this one because I'm thinking, does a young blood come along, facing the old guard, speed, agility? I'll take a stab at Ismail. So if you're going to say, I'm going to go take a stab at Ismail. I think speed can be a factor. Hunger because he's younger, and I think if you can avoid takedowns, I think because Curtis Millender doesn't have any takedown defense anyway for a start, I think Ismail's got a better takedown defense. That's the difference, and I think he could probably handle Siyar's takedown offense to circle away. So I'll probably go with Ismail here, but I would not be shocked if it was a split decision. Or like a tight decision round. I would not be surprised. I'm going to go for a decision here for him, but yeah, I'm not super confident. We're going to go next up to the middleweight division. This is going to be an interesting one because we've got Mr. Alessio de Chirico against Makhmud Muradov. Now, dude's got talent. He's on a hell of a win streak. Signed up to the UFC. Makhmud, Will, what are you looking on this fight, bro? In fact, I'm going first, aren't I?
I was going to say, yeah.
My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I have. Well, you can tell me what you're looking forward to after I've told you what I'm looking forward to. Hey, Muradov he's a fun dude. He's a fun fighter to watch. I think that his flaws in his game, which Alessio might take advantage of, because Alessio's quite basic with his striking and his overall skill set, but he's fundamentally basic. He keeps everything simple, everything solid. He doesn't do anything too crazy. He keeps it all quite compact. My only kind of downfall with Alessio is maybe his output. He could probably maybe throw a little bit more in the output department, even if it's just jabbing, just to keep something going. But Muradov, he likes to throw. One thing he likes to throw is a double jab, right hand. Now we'll either throw the right straight, or cross as people call it, or an overhand right. He likes to throw that. He'll circle to the opponent's left side with the double jab and then come over with the right hand. And that takes your alignment off your opponent, so when you throw that right hand, you're going straight down the pipe and potentially landed. He's landed it a couple of times in fights, but sometimes I find he does overextend. There was one fight I watched, I'm going to forget the gentleman's name now, that he fought. He was just a short, fat guy, is the best way to put it. But he had a good record. He had a winning record. Gonzalez was something like, I think it was Gonzalez, something like that. It was like maybe his fourth or fifth fight recently that he's recently had, and he just didn't put the guy away. He won a decision, but I thought he should have been putting someone like that away because the guy wasn't offering enough offense. He was more like a punch bag, like Roy Nelson and Alistair Overeem fight, where Roy was just a punch bag for that fight, and that kind of was what it turned out there. So I kind of thought to myself, does Muradov have the fight IQ to put someone away, or is he just being smart with the output to get the points in the rounds to get the decision? Or he did look all right. He seemed to have an okay 15 minutes on him. If I'm Alessio, I'm going to get this guy close to me. I'm going to get this guy clinched up. I'm going to try and get him to the ground. I'm going to try and tire him out a little bit. Take a spring out of a step. The guy likes to be explosive and powerful. I think one thing will play a factor in this is the fact that Alessio's in the UFC already. He's fought in the UFC quite a few times. I know he's not on a win streak. He lost to Kevin Holland, that decision there. He's lost to some guys that you wouldn't think he's to, but Alessio's not going to be a world beater. But I'm going to go with Alessio here. I think he can get a decision win. I just think he's a bit suave in the fight game on the UFC. I think he can just do enough to clinch up and get the win. Muradov showed some flaws in his game, I thought, in some of the fights, so I'm going to go with Alessio. But I'm not overly confident, but I think he can do it. As long as he just doesn't, as long as he stays aware of that double jab, right straight, he should be golden. That's his kind of weapon for Muradov.
Yeah, this is a fight I looked into last week and kind of really was surprised by what I've seen from Muradov, because I'd never heard of him. I did hear him, but I'd never seen any of his fights. Because this is the guy that Floyd Mayweather has signed, this Muradov guy. So he has him as an agent, or Floyd Mayweather signed up to the money team pretty much. So that was interesting to me. Went back and watched his fights. Majority of his fights are on YouTube, and I like what I've seen from the guy. The guy's got a lot of experience. 27, 28 fights I think he's got. He's took his losses, but very, very explosive with his striking. Really good ground and pound. I think the fights that I watched, he pretty much got a takedown in every fight that I watched. I like that. I think he got them off the cage as well, which is something I think Chirico might actually try and do here, is maybe try and stifle him up against the fence and maybe try and look for takedowns through that. But I think that Muradov is a more explosive striker, and he's got the bigger power. I posted like a video last week of his knockout of Alberto Uda, who used to fight in the UFC, where he came over with a big right hand and then kind of followed up with the kind of Dan Henderson flying forearm.
Yeah, that was crazy, that one, yeah. As well.
So the guy's got, like I say, a lot of power. The only thing that's kind of really worrisome here is obviously Chirico's got a lot of UFC experience. He's got some UFC wins. I thought he was a little bit unlucky in the Kevin Holland fight last time out as well. But it is short notice. Chirico has been getting ready for this fight card for a long time, where I think Muradov's like 2 weeks maybe he's got. So, but from what I hear, or what I read, sorry, he was already getting ready for a fight. So he was starting to get in fight shape. He's just going to bring it forward 4 or 5 weeks, I think it is. I'm going to take a shot, like a shot in Muradov. And the reason was because when I was watching him, I was like, okay, I'll go and have a look at the betting lines. I was like, oh, really? Is that big an underdog? So I went back and watched some more fights for the next hour 20 minutes, came back, and the betting line started going down even more. So, right, I need to go on this now before the lines go off, because obviously people are seeing what I'm seeing, or they like what they see, and they just want to bet this guy. He was a pretty heavy underdog.
Yeah.
When I wake up the next, it wasn't the next waking up. I think it was like later, like maybe a full 24 hours later. I looked at the betting odds, and he is the favourite. He's went from a heavy underdog, now he's actually a heavy favourite. So he's went from, I think he was plus 175, and as it sits right now, he's minus 145.
That's a big jump.
The line has flipped dramatically,
wow.
And I don't agree with that personally. I still see him as an underdog. He should be an underdog. But when I seen him at that odds, I'll give away my betting thing already. I already bet this guy because I thought I didn't expect the lines to flip that much. I like what I've seen, but I still expect him to be an underdog. But for him to be bet to a favourite, I'm like, oh, that took me back. So yeah, I've got Muradov. I think that I really love his ground and pound. Whether he can get to Chirico there is another thing. If he stays on the feet, I think it could be kind of close. I think he's the longer, faster striker, but I think Chirico's like really kind of savvy with his striking. He's a hard guy to really kind of land clean shots on. But I'm going to take Muradov to win the fight, and I'm hoping for my sake my bet comes through. But it's a tough fight, tough fight.
Well, we got potential fight of the night here. It's going to be this has got the makings of a war. Alen Amedovski against John Phillips. Will middleweight swinger, banger, two dudes who don't go backwards, who both have power in their hands. Ooh, Will, come on, son, give it to me.
The thing is with this fight, like I thought that with the Jack Marshman fight, I thought Phillips and Marshman were going to go at it and were going to have a real heave-ho with each other, and it didn't turn out to be that.
I thought it wasn't, because Marshman's more of a suave striker. He's really boxing tactical side of things. So I expected Marshman to be like that. Yeah,
so I've been a little bit kind of blindsided kind of from watching that fight, because I remember thinking, right, Phillips was an underdog. I thought if they're going to start banging, he's going to be the one there is going to get it. But John Phillips just really hasn't showed it in the UFC. So it's like, where do you go with this fight? Because Amedovski I don't think is all that great, but I thought he showed a lot of heart in that fight with Jotko. At least Jotko's, I think he's been a ranked fighter before.
Yeah, he was in top 10 money, I'm sure he was.
Yeah,
I think he was killing it.
Yeah, he was. That wasn't a bad fight. It was a tough fight for him to come in, but it was like, I think it's actually tougher than anything than what John Phillips has kind of had. Maybe Kevin Holland, to me, he's one of those most frustrating guys. I think as a fellow, like a fighter trying to face him, for the simple reason that he talks. You can never really hurt the guy too much. He's just an awkward guy. But like he wants to strike. Amedovski wants to strike. John Phillips is known as a big power hitter. This is one of these fights this week where you just toss the coin and see where it lands, because if they do start going at it in a firefight, then anybody can really land. But I've thought that with John Phillips before. I'm going to take a shot on Amedovski. I think that John Phillips just hasn't really showed anything in his UFC tenure. He tries, but that's pretty much it. I'm surprised he's actually still, they're giving him a fourth fight in the UFC, considering he's been stopped a couple of times. And To be fair, I did think he won that fight against Jack Marshman. That was just me probably because I had money on him. But yeah, I'm going to go Amedovski. Be a knockout.
Yeah, that Phillips Marshman fight, I can see maybe people giving definitely the first round. Do you give it a 10-8 round to Phillips because you knocked him down? What constitutes as a 10-8 round is really awkward. That's just them scoring. But he has been doing, looks like John Phillips, a lot of conditioning training. Whether or not he was doing that prior, but he seems to maybe be posting it more on social media about a lot of the kind of performance training he's doing. Because I think that he's too patient, John Phillips. He plods forward to chase you down, and he wants to just get in range for that strike or throw that counter. And I'm like, dude, that's too patient. You need to be more aggressive. You need to use footwork. Cut the cage off. Cut them down. Use your shot, and use your jab to close off the area. But he doesn't seem to do it, and I think that's one of the reasons why he played into guys. Like you said, he's been stopped a couple of times. The Marshman fight. Marshman was clever. Used the head kicks, leg kicks. Just kept him at bay. Used the jabs, body punch. Marshman just stayed long. Marshman didn't waste his time staying close. If I'm honest with you, it's just a smart way to beat John Phillips. Amedovski is not going to do that. He is going to be just kind of bouncing forward, and he's good at slipping punches though, Amedovski, and cracking with a counter. I'm going Amedovski as well because I just think they're both going to be standing and they're going to be cracking each other. Because I think if either one knocks each other down, they're probably just trying to stand up because I think they'll get that confidence to stay standing. And like you say, John Phillips, he just seems to not click in the UFC. I don't know whether it's a psychological battle or maybe he's just not UFC level. Maybe it is that SBG thing that got him into there, Look, we wouldn't be surprised. Look what it seems to be doing. So, who knows? And I think if John Phillips gets cut, that's pretty much SBG having a bit of a rough time. Let's be honest. There's not many left in there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that could be the case. Let's look at the main card, folks. We're going to go to the welterweight division. Back with a bang, Nicolas Dalby, UFC return. I did the interview with him, folks. You can check it out against Alex Oliveira. Tough fight, but then again, people say it's a tough fight, but you look at who Nicolas Dalby fought when he was in the UFC beforehand. He's the man who went to have a war with Darren Till. Fought to the bitter end with Darren Till. So it's not like Nicolas Dalby. He got the win against Dos Santos as well, who is a legit kind of UFC welterweight dude. So he's not exactly fighting cans, let's say. He lost the decision to Zach Cummins, who's another badass dude as well. So his fight's in the UFC. And Peter Sabota, who sadly isn't on this card, is he? He got injured, didn't he? So yeah, we've had... And Sabota's a bad man, so he's not getting starched. He's actually just losing the decisions. He went out to the Cage Warriors, I'll rephrase that. Had some battles with himself, went back to Cage Warriors, got everything back together, had a fight to the death, is what it looked like with Ross Houston, which was, people check it out if you've not seen it. It will be all over social media this week because that's how the media sites will be pushing this fight with Dalby's return. Just look for Ross Houston versus Nicolas Dalby. It was bonkers, but Nicolas Dalby looked great. He started to look confident with striking, his timings, his counters. He's starting to get more power, it seems. He's starting to really crack with his hands. Alex Oliveira is always a tough cat. That dude just brings a fight, but he's just a guy that I love watching now. If Alex Oliveira is on a card, I'm in. Sign me up. There's a handful of guys that are going to bring a belt and fight. Alex Oliveira, I'm not saying his back's against the wall, but he's having a bit of a rough time, a couple of losses in a row, and he'll want to try and rectify that. Does he try to play it safe, get takedowns on Nicolas Dalby if he can, and try to wrestle it out? Sensible person would do that, and I would try to wrestle Nicolas Dalby, but it's Alex Oliveira. I think he likes to just swing in and bang and flow and throw punches and kicks. I think this kind of fight is that kind of style. I think Dalby and Alex Oliveira are going to stand up and be throwing. I think if Dalby for me, I think Dalby can get this. I think he can absolutely win with counters, take his time, use the angles, and just use that footwork. He's got very explosive movement footwork in and out. If time it with Alex Oliveira, get the angle, throw the counters, and just keep going. He's got a wicked head kick, Dalby. I'm going to go Dalby, man. It's just, I've got a soft spot for him as well. I think he's tough as nails. He's got great energy about him. He could do it for five rounds if he wanted to. That's the thing about it. He's got great cardio. I'm going to go Dalby. Decision win. Got to go Dalby.
Yeah, it's great to see kind of Nick back in kind of fine spirits, and you kind of alluded to in your interview, like he's came through some really tough spots, and he's kind of brought himself back to where I think he should be. But he's had tough fights in the UFC. He really has. He's had tough encounters. He hasn't taken the easy road to get back as well. He's faced good fighters over here in Europe. And of course that fight with Houston, he overcame adversity really early on, got a really kind of nasty cut, and then it was just a bloodbath from there on out. But to be fair, he was winning that fight after that elbow. And
turned it around.
Yeah, if that fight was gonna keep on going, there was only going to be one winner in my opinion, and that shows you the heart that Nicolas Dalby has. And of course, fighting in Denmark, this is going to be absolutely humongous for this guy. He's going to have all friends, all family there. I see Oliveira starting off really quick, and if he can't get someone like Dalby out relatively early, then I think he's going to have a really tough fight late on in this one here, because he fades, and Dalby, he might fade as well, but he doesn't show it as much as what Oliveira does. And if you give him just an inkling of getting back into the fight, he will take it. He did it against Dantil. I remember watching that third round and thinking, he's going to finish Dantil here. And that was before Dantil really blew up. He won a couple of rounds. I think he won that round 10-8, got a draw out of it. So the guy's got all heart, a will to kind of never quit. But initially I was on Dalby, but I think I'm on Oliveira. I think he's going to spoil the party a little bit here.
Damn you!
On this fight card, there's nobody else I want to win more than Nicolas Dalby. Just his story is a feel-good story. Didn't really want to be in amongst the sport. Came back, rededicated himself, had a family, and seems to be in the best spot he's ever been with his kind of life and stuff. So I want him to win this fight. But I think Oliveira's obviously, he's lost a couple of fights. He started off that Gunny fight really well. He was actually beating Gunny's ass until he kind of caught that elbow right in the forehead, and then got submitted. And then it was the Mike Perry kind of brawl that he just, I don't know, I thought he was going to win that fight. He just, Mike Perry being a tough bastard, just got him in there and just beat him up a little bit. But like I said, I think Oliveira's going to start off quick. I think I can see him fading off late, but I think he does enough to win against Nicolas Dalby.
Nice, bro. Okay, next up we're going to the light heavyweight division. Michael, here we go. Oleksiejczuk against OSP. Well, light heavyweight showdown. Interesting fights. Again, it's like old guard, new guard, isn't it? Because OSP's no spring chicken.
Yeah, that is. It seems to me that the UFC's putting this fight for someone like Oleksiejczuk to get himself that named fighter that's been in the top 15 for the longest time, to move him into that position of moving into the top 15. And I'll be honest, I put my hand up, but I wasn't, like, when I seen Oleksiejczuk coming to the UFC, I didn't think he was going to be a great fight. I didn't see it coming. I thought he could beat Khalil, because I've never been the biggest Khalil Rountree fan. But kind of what he's done from there on out, it's just starch dudes. Very good counter striking, just a very good solid overall fighter. You can see it with his striking, that he's got decent striking, and if you give him an opportunity to throw from that southpaw stance, which he is a southpaw, so he's going to throw from that stance, but if you give him an opportunity to throw a clean shot, you're going to be in deep trouble. And OSP to me, is they're trying to build Oleksiejczuk off this guy pretty much. He's coming off a couple of losses. He pretty much got knocked out against Dominic Reyes, in my opinion, in that fight. He was outstruck, outgunned in that fight. Krylov, he started off all right in that fight, got him down a couple of times, but couldn't really do anything with it. But then he got submitted by Nikita Krylov. To me, this is just like a set-up fight for Oleksiejczuk. I think to get this guy into the top 15, I think OSP's definitely on the downwards kind of cycle of being not with the UFC in the next 12 months, in my opinion. So I've got Oleksiejczuk, and like I say, the only guy to knock out. I know I was going on about Dominic Reyes. He did hurt me, dropped him a couple of times, but Jamie Mano was the only guy that's really kind of cleanly knocked him out. So
man, that was horrible. Remember that? Woo.
Yeah, it was a horrible, horrible knockout. So yeah, that's kind of the only guy that's really, really knocked him out, kind of really badly.
Yeah.
But I think Oleksiejczuk, even over the 15 minutes, can outwork and out hustle him. Maybe get some takedowns, but I think he's clean on the feet. I think he's going to hurt OSP, and I think he could get OSP out of there. If not, I see him running up a 30-27, at least a 29-28. So, Mikhail Oleksiejczuk for the win for me there.
I can only see OSP winning this by getting takedowns. You know, I just think Ole is too quick. That dude is fast for this division, man. His hands, the guys just can't keep up with that pace. He's fast getting in there with his hands, with his combinations. He's quick getting out. He's got the counters and everything. Dude, the kid's exciting. You know, he's got a lot of talent in him. He's got a lot of potential as well to just upset guys. And I think OSP, just with his heavy footwork that he has, OSP's quite heavy on the feet. He likes to have distance. He likes to have guys kind of be patient. I don't think Ollie's going to do that. I think Ollie's going to be pushing forward with kind of combinations and jabs and just circling around, just keep him moving, just to keep OSP guessing. I'm going to go with the finish here. I think Ollie's going to finish him. I think he's going to keep that pace on him. I think second round maybe Ollie's going to get the timings, if not the first. And I think OSP might get put away for the first time, for a while. Because it is coming, so to speak. You know, when you're putting the performances that he's putting in, and the things that are going down wrong for him, someone's going to take advantage of that. And it seems that OSP kind of beats himself up mentally in fights, rather than trying to turn it around. So I'm going to go with Ole for the KO there, bro. Another light heavyweight bout, and Ion Cutelaba against your favourite Khalil Rountree. Interesting light heavyweight fight again. It's a good one too, because Cutelaba is just a big, jacked beast, and that's exactly what he is. Jacked to the gills. He's only a young kid still, coming in. Boxing's improved greatly. He's got the wrestling, if he wants it. His grappling's there. He can use the takedowns in fights, but one big thing he's got is a gas tank, though, that doesn't stick around. He does slow down. He does gas a bit. And I think part of it's because it's the takedown game. Sometimes when he gets takedowns, he doesn't make the most of the takedowns when he's on top. He doesn't get the full advantage of it. And it's a lot of energy to expel when you're 205 pounds, weighing in anyway. Obviously, whatever you weigh after that, you're lifting someone who's potentially 220, let's say. Let's just round off 220. It's not easy picking up a 220-pound man multiple times, while then when you're on your feet, moving around, getting punched and punching. Cutelaba has a slight worry with that, because if we look at Khalil Rountree, that last fight, that Muay Thai that is money for Khalil. Him and Muay Thai just clicked, but he looked good all the way through that fight. Now, don't get me wrong, Eric Anders and I think everyone else was like, yeah, we didn't expect him to actually just do that. We expected a little bit of an improvement, but no one expected that much of it. He just went full ball with it. And obviously Cutelaba's got the knowledge that it's going to happen. His goal is with this is, if the leg kicks are going to come, he has to counter. He has to punch off there if he's not going to check them. I don't think Cuti's going to check him. I think Cuti's going to try and time the takedowns with these, if I'm honest with you. I think after a couple of landed, he's going to try and shoot him for the takedowns to get the takedowns on Khalil. If Khalil can stop it, Cuti's in for a long night. If you can cut those leg kicks in from Khalil, that'll slow Cutelaba down, make him more of a hittable target. I'm going to go Khalil Rountree. he's hit a ball with. I think Cutelaba is good for the first and second round. But if Khalil comes out like he did in the last fight, it's hard to go against him really again, because that performance is just solid. The takedowns early on, start landing those takedowns straight away. That really stopped Eric Anders trying to get any grappling and takedown offense going. And I'm going to go with Khalil. I think he'll stick to his guns. He'll do exactly the same again. Just stay on his light on his feet and just move and strike away. So I'm going to go with decision for Khalil if he doesn't get a late round stoppage.
Yeah, it's a good fight. It's one I'm looking forward to. I think it's got a kind of lot of fireworks that could potentially kind of go off in this fight. That seems to be the case with all kind of Cutelaba's fights. I really enjoy watching him fight, actually, because he's a bit of a mad dude, doesn't really give two shits about his opponent. He'll kick you in the nuts, he'll poke you in the eye, he'll do whatever, like he kind of did in the Glover fight. Yeah. But he's got big power. Big power, and if you're not on the kind of same speed and power level as this guy, he will hurt you. Rountree looked phenomenal last time. There's absolutely no doubt about it. He's went to Thailand, looks a completely different guy. Looked a different guy in that fight, but this Khalil 2.0. I don't buy into it yet after performance. Like I say, I've never been the biggest Khalil kind of fan. At all, really. But he's got some skills there, and the guy's only 29 years old, so he's maybe coming into his prime now, and he's maybe finding his right spot out there, being in Thailand. I've been looking at his Instagram earlier on. Him and his brother have been out there right up until Sunday, I think it is, before they flew to Denmark.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he's been doing the rounds over there. But I think Cutelaba has a grappling advantage if he wants to use it. In this fight, he's got a grappling advantage. I don't think he's the best on the ground, but he's got a grappling advantage by getting takedowns and so on. On the feet, Khalil, I think, is the more technical, better striker, big power, big speed as well. But Cutelaba's got massive power, and if he cracks you and he catches you, he's going to put you out to sleep, put you down and put you to sleep pretty much. I've got Cutelaba here. I think I'm going to take him via a knockout in the first 2 rounds. But if Khalil's coming out there and he's popping that jab and hitting leg kicks and just mixing it up, then Cutelaba maybe will kind of have to resort to the takedowns fairly quick. But I like Cutelaba in this spot. I'm going to pick him via TKO because I think that's kind of what he likes to do pretty much. And I wouldn't like to see him getting late into the fight. I think he would gas pretty badly. So I'll take Cutelaba for the win there.
And a surprise matchup next, Will, in the welterweight division. Gunnar Nelson gets a short notice, but really eager man to fight at the moment of late. Gilbert Burns stepping up. Didn't look too bad at 170. Gilbert Burns. Just kind of suits him for some reason. He's just kind of decided, look, forget 155. Let's do 170. Have a bit of fun with this, and look good in his last fight. Obviously, we love Gunnar Nelson. I love Gilbert Burns. This is a hell of a fight. If I'm honest with you, as a matchmaking perspective, stylistically, it's a great matchup because the pair of them have got good striking. Obviously, the ground game ain't too bad either. I think it's a high-level welterweight matchup, Will. What are you looking forward to, bro?
Yeah, I'm struggling with this fight, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's a... obviously, both guys are really good on the ground. I think they're two of the better guys in the whole entire sport down there. So if it goes there, then it's going to be interesting. That's where I want to see if it goes there. Gilbert Burns, he's jumping in here kind of really short notice after that kind of last fight with Kunchenko, where he won that fight. Not a lot of people were picking him there. I wasn't one of them. I didn't think he'd get it done in Uruguay back. Christ, that was only 5-6 weeks ago as well. So, and he gassed badly in that fight. He got some well-timed takedowns, which is something that I think he could potentially try and use here. On the feet's the more interesting thing to me because I think that Gunnar is really good on the feet, but I don't think he shows. Sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't. And I think that both guys' gas tank is. I don't think Gunny's ever had the best gas tank, especially when it's if he has to keep it on the feet. Then I don't think he likes it. I think if he goes to the ground, he can kind of control. Yeah. He doesn't look as bad with his gas tank or whatever it is there. But Gilbert Burns lands takedowns. His last 3 fights, he's landed 3 takedowns in each of those fights. So if he lands, if he can land takedowns here, then it's going to be interesting. I want to see these guys go on the ground, because I think when I look at it, I think that Gunny's maybe got the better. It's kind of hard to say. Pure jiu-jitsu, I think Darino's got the better pure jiu-jitsu. I think for an MMA style, I think that the positional MMA, like on the ground grappling, I think that Gunny's really, really good with that. Getting into positions and working to get into positions, where I think if they were to go to the ground and it was just like somebody was to land a submission like really quick, I think I would pick someone like Darino, who maybe sees a spot and goes after it. Tough fight for me to pick. I'm a fan of both guys. I think I'm going to go Gunnar Nelson via a very kind of close decision. I think that he just does enough, but like I say, I'm not confident in the pick. Because I think Darino, what he's shown his last few fights, he's looked fantastic. I'm going to go Gunny via a very, very close decision, though.
Okay, nice, bro. I'm with you. I hate this matchup because it's so hard to pick.
Yeah.
When you see a Gilbert steps in, you think, okay, well, if it goes to the ground, that kind of nullifies a big, big advantage of Gunnar Nelson, that he had a lot of fights, was the ground game. And you kind of think, okay, well, that's gone. On the feet, Gilbert Burns striking isn't too bad these days. You know, he seems to hold his own. You know, he's him and Henry, not done too bad with the old striking game. I'm a bit torn as well, bro. I think maybe the factor is the fact that Gilbert Burns just fought recently. Did he go back straight to hard training after Gilbert? Did he maybe have a week or two off after that fight? Because it wasn't any, it was a 3-round fight. It was a hard fight. He might have taken a week off. Gunnar was training the whole fight. Has been training the whole fight camp, So Gunnar's not taking that kind of fight damage that maybe Gilbert has. Man, it's a horrible one. I'm going to pick Gunnar just because of the fact that Gunnar's been in fight camp. He's not had a fight in the last 5 weeks, and maybe has a bit of advantage on the ground, on the feet. Sorry, not the ground, the feet more so, with the way he strikes. Might throw Gilbert off a bit, because it's not a kind of common kind of technique that Gilbert's really used to facing, so that might throw Gilbert off for the timings and the striking game. I think Gilbert might try to press for the striking, and Gunnar might take advantage of that with the kind of distance management. But yeah, I'm going Gunnar, but I'm not. I would not be at all surprised if Gilbert somehow gets more strikes, or maybe gets a takedown and takes control on the top game. But I just hope it hits the mat. I hope it hits the mat for 3 rounds. I hope each one gets a takedown and just goes on the mat, and it's just reversal city, sweeps and everything. That would be so good to watch. Oh, it'd be so exciting. But we can't always promise that, and odds are it'll probably be a 3-round stand-up war. And everyone will be annoyed at that. Go up to the co-main event now. Yep, you're hearing that right. Co-main event, lightweight division. Mark Madsen making his UFC debut against Danilo Belluardo. I said that out loud, folks. Mark Madsen is an Olympian, so he's a Danish superstar, let's say. That's pretty much why he's the co-main event. He's a name in Denmark. He got signed purely because he's Danish and his card's going to be in Denmark. He's not a bad fighter. Believe it or not, I can give you a heads up what his skill set's going to be for when he fights. Shuffle, punch, grab, take you down, go from there, and pretty much is heavy on you. My only worry with him is he's not got the most offensive takedowns, if that makes sense. He's not the most aggressive on the ground when he goes for submissions. He holds on quite a lot. Like his last fight was against a boxer, and he won via submission. That's his last match, against some boxer called Patrick Nelson or whatever it was, back in June. So I don't really even take that into account, that fight. You can write that fight off. A wrestler fight a boxer. Well, we know how that's going to go. But if you look at his Cage Warriors fights, which you can go online onto Fight Pass and find, he is just your standard, he's almost like a Dan Henderson. Shuffle, punch, grab, take it down. I think that's what's going to happen here. I think it's going to be a bit of a anticlimactic co-main event. I think Mark's just going to get throw the strikes. Bernardo's good on his feet. He's quite light. He's, weirdly enough, Danilo Belluardo usually would be the taller lightweight in most fights, but obviously his last one against Joey Alves, who's 6'3", kind of threw that out the window. But he's going to be the taller fighter, perfect for the takedowns, not bad striking. I think I would just be if I was Belluardo, my drilling would have been sneaking into guillotines and sweeping when you get put on your back, kind of reversing anything like that, because that's all it's going to be. I'm going to pick Mark Madsen decision because I think he is just a higher level wrestler, and wrestling is usually king in fights. It doesn't take a lot of damage in his fights anyway, so I'm going to go Mark Madsen with a rather lackluster decision win.
Yeah, it's a set-up fight. They know who they want to win this fight, and it's not the Italian and Belluardo here, and he lost to Joel Alvarez last time. I mean, first thing I'll say is happy birthday to Mark Madsen, who turned 35 today. So he's not a young buck by any stretch of the imagination. So
it's PR work, his signing.
Yeah, it's just weird. I tweeted earlier on about why he's in the co-main event, and some people came in and says, look, he's pretty big in Denmark, and I knew he was an Olympic silver medalist and so on. Yeah, I've got him to win via kind of rinse and repeat takedowns, probably keeping him there for large parts of the rounds and winning a very, very kind of unanimous decision in this one here. But, yeah, I'm not going to go and say any more than that. I've got him via kind of wrestle fuck for 15 minutes, really.
Yeah, it's he's not going to have a great success in the UFC, let's put it that way, because there's people out there who's going to absolutely murk him. Middleweight division, though. Main event. This is a fun fight. Coming off his leg kick destruction of Anderson Silva, Jared Cannonier is stepping in to face Jack Hermansson, which, if you look at this fight, Will, the winner kind of puts themselves in the mix for title kind of talks, because you think they're probably one win away after this fight being title contenders, would you say?
Yeah. Especially, yeah, on Hermansson's side especially.
Yes. Yeah, the wins he's had, the streak he's been on, absolutely. So yeah, Will, this is a big fight. Fun bat matchup. 5 rounds. What are you looking forward to, Will, in this matchup, bro?
When this fight was first announced, I was actually really, really confident in Hermansson, but the closer the fight gets, the more I think this is a really, really tough fight for Jack Hermansson. I think this could be like a really tough fight for him in here, because like what I like with Cannonier is that he's went to different places, people's hometowns. Like going to Brazil, that was a really, really awkward thing, and like the fight ended kind of awkwardly. But like he's not afraid to go into people's countries, backyards, whatever it is, and fight. He did it with Dave Branch as well, where he knocked him out in the second round, and he looked phenomenal in his debut in the middleweight division. The former heavyweight obviously came down, and I mean he's fought some. Like Sean Jordan was a beast at the time, Cutelaba, Shearer, Blachowicz, Dominic Reyes. He's fought some really, really good guys, and he's came down here and he's put himself in a position where that with the win here, he probably puts himself just around that top 5. There's not too many more people ahead of him. But this is a massive fight for Hermansson, and the simple reason that it's obviously in Scandinavia. He represents, I think, Sweden and Norway. Yeah. Denmark are pretty much siblings of those countries, or thereabouts. But Jack Hermansson, he seems to me right now like he's obviously in the best spot he's ever been in his career. He's just coming off an absolute worldy win against Jacare, who he's a kind of a legend of the sport. Fought really well in that fight. Got into some positions on the ground where I thought that you have to be really careful, obviously, when you go to the ground with someone like a Jacare Souza. But he just mixed it in. It wasn't really into positions with Jacare. He was the one that kind of instigated takedowns, is what I'm trying to say there. And any time you go to the ground with someone like Jacare, you have to mind your P's and Q's, and he did that very, very well. And he's got... we say this every single fight. He's shown the Dave Branch fight that he's got submissions there, but the guy's got the most worldly ground and pound I think there is. in the sport. I think he's got one of the best ground and pound games there. So that's obvious where I think he needs to take that there to the ground is there, because I think he's got the biggest advantage there. I think he can submit Cannonier. I think he can knock him out. On the feet is where he gets a little bit sketchy, because Cannonier shown that he's got some really vicious striking. He looks great being down at middleweight. You can tell he's focused. He's kind of primed in that division. It is where he should have really always been, from where he was a massive heavyweight. But what I like about Jack is he never knows when he's out of a fight. He never quits. Tally's latest fight shows that, especially where he's really hurt. Still manages to stop that fight. And the guy's a finisher. Now, you don't see all that many finishes with the big guys. That's why he's not finishing people like Jacare, but his output was tremendous, and he mixed up really well. Like I say, the closer the fight's got, I think it's a really, really close, dangerous fight for Jack Hermansson. I am going to pick Jack Hermansson. He was my gut feeling way back. I thought it was a good fight for him. I don't think it's as good a fight as initially thought. I think it's more of a dangerous encounter for him. But I've got him winning here. I think if you can get this fight to the ground, he's worlds ahead of what Jared Cannonier is, and he's got too many weapons down there. Like I said, I love watching Hermansson ground and pound. I think it's one of the best things in the sport, just how vicious he is with it. And I think he said on the aerial show earlier on that if he can get a decisive win here, get a stoppage, he's going to fly down to Australia the week after if he's not too much damage, and be there just in case something happens. So fair play to him if he does that. But yeah, I've got Jack Hermansson. I'm going to go third, fourth round TKO via kind of ground and pound.
Yeah, it's a hell of a match. Hell of a fight. Yeah, if Jack Hermansson, I know he said that, and I'm like, Jack, just focus on what you got ahead of you.
Yeah.
You know, too many times you see guys think ahead of the game. Just take one fight at a time, and that is it. And then when the fight's over, then you focus on that. Yeah, Jared, you know, he got that Anderson Silva fight was a weird one that was made. That kind of caught everyone off guard. Jared against Anderson, he got the win. That is more than a feather in your cap, hand with Anderson Silva, W on yourself. You know, TKO against Anderson Silva, even though Anderson's nowhere near what he was. And Gerald, to be fair to him, he was winning that whole round. There was no point in that fight that Anderson Silva was winning. I think Anderson threw like 1-2 kicks, and that was about it. Other than that, Jared was just controlling the cage, because as we know, Anderson Silva likes to counter strike, and that's all it is. Yeah, Jack Hermansson ain't that type. Jack Hermansson's aggressive. He's got nice long straights. He's got good 1-2s. Comes forward, and he's aggressive. And I think that Jared needs to be kind of suave to that aggressiveness, because Jack's going to shoot him for the takedowns. I think Jack's stronghold here will be on the ground against Jared Cannonier. As you made a point there, Will, the ground and pound is huge. It is disgusting. What's great about Jack's ground and pound, it isn't the striking itself, it's the control in which he has the opponents in. Having that heavy top game is not easy. A lot of guys don't have the good balance, they don't put the pressure with their weight on the opponent well, and so that gives opponents a chance to ride off. But he's got that nailed down. He's so heavy on top of guys, kind of like Luke Rockhold. You know, Luke Rockhold had a great top game with ground and pound too, and I think Jack Hermansson's kind of got that about him, and I think that's where he wants to win the fight, and I think that's where he should win the fight. I think on the feet, I think Jack can have the better output. I think he can definitely throw more and land more, because for me, Jared sometimes a little bit tense, a little bit slow getting off the mark, and I think Jack can time it, get the takedowns in, and just have a bit more. I think I'm going to decision for Jack Hermansson here. I think it's going to be a bit of a war. I think Jared is tough guy. If Jack's going to win, he's going to get a submission or TKO on the ground. But man, I'm going to give Jared his dues. He's looking phenomenal at middleweight. But I just think Jack's on a hell of a ride at the moment, and the dude is looking so goddamn good. And that Jacare win, man, anyone goes to the ground with Jacare, your butthole is clenching. And he looked good, he looked happy, he looked confident, and so I'm going to take Jack Hermansson in this one, and kudos. I think he is literally one win away. I was hoping to get someone like Weidman for this fight, and that's what my instinct was, or a Kelvin Gastelum, someone like that would have been perfect for Jack, and then the winner of that gets the title fight. But I hope Jack gets it. I hope Jack wins and gets one more win after this. But We'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to go Jack Hermansson decision. And that's our picks for the card, UFC Copenhagen. Feel free to put your picks down below. Let us know who you think's going to win or what fights you're looking forward to. And can we jump over to the bets? Tell us about the lines, what's happening, what's the latest, and what you're feeling.
Yeah. Before we get into that, I just want to say I don't know exactly who's going over to Denmark, but I know Adam's going over.
Yeah, Matt is.
Main
Chris.
Is Matt going as well? Matt and Chris is going. So.
I've actually messaged him before, so you got Matt, Adam, Chris, Graham, Matt, Keith, and Jamie.
All going over.
Jeez Louise, a ton of them.
Yeah. So all those guys that we obviously all know that we've been at events with before, just enjoy the fights because I think it's going to be a good one for you, and it's a nice, from what I hear, Copenhagen's a nice place. So enjoy the fights over there, boys.
Gotta enjoy the beer.
Yeah. It's pretty expensive over there here as well in Denmark. So maybe not too much of that, but bets. I've got 2 bets already. I made those. I made the one with Jack Hermansson. So I've got him in a parlay with someone next week. I might as well just say anyway, it's Tai Tuivasa. So I've got that. I got Jack Hermansson at -200, parlayed with Tai Tuivasa at -300. That makes plus 100. So, or -100, I should say. So, so that's a good parlay, I think. But at the time, I thought Hermansson's a good chance to win this fight. As the fights came closer, I'm like, maybe that bet's not as good. But the line has went from -200 to -240 for Jack Hermansson, so I had to get on the value side of that very quickly. My other bet is Muradov. We're talking about the big jump in the betting line. In that fight, I got him. Like I say, when I was watching his fights, he was -163. I came back an hour and a bit later. He's -150. I thought, right, I need to go on it now. So I bet him there. But now there's no way I would bet him as a favourite. Like I said, I still think he should be an underdog. I don't think he should be favoured in the fight. I think if anything, it's a pick'em fight. But I think they're disrespecting kind of Chirico a little bit because he's got UFC wins. He's been under the bright lights and he's fought better fighters than what Muradov has. So yeah, I think the line's a little bit off there. So if you want to take a shot into Chirico, I don't think it's a bad bet either. If I'm being honest with you. So other bets on the card, I really like Oleksiejczuk and Macy Chiasson to win via submission or TKO. I got her the last time, I think it was against Sarah Moras. I got a fairly good number on her to win via a knockout or submission. That's kind of what I'm looking at there. I don't think I'm going to get that line on Macy for another few days yet. And the Michael McCall one at -230, I think is a good parlay piece in my opinion. I've actually kind of looked at him with a potential Bellator guy as well, with Pitbull Brothers.
Oh yeah.
He's main event against Juan Archuleta. So that's one I've kind of looked at, maybe putting together. If I don't get the line that I like on Macy, then I'll probably move over to Pitbull to add to Oleksiejczuk. And there was opportunities to bet Jack Shore at a really lower price. He was down in your -120. I thought that was a good value line, but I hadn't really watched. Well, it's kind of weird to say I hadn't really watched Jack Shore's fights because I've seen all of the fights, but just going back over,
refreshed,
and I just thought, right, I'm just going to leave the kid just just to see what he's like in his debut, because I think Hernandez is a durable kid. He looks decent. I like what I've seen in his first fight, and it was the same with Diakese. He was down at -110. Now he's went up to -155. That might come down a little bit. If it comes down a little bit, I might think about throwing a bet on there. Brandon Davis is -130 against Chikadze, so there might be a little bit of value there, but I don't think I can go there. Amedovski is -105 in a fight. I think he could knock out Phillips or kind of not dominate him, but kind of have the better exchanges across the fight. Cutelaba is actually one I think I might go and bet against Khalil. He's -120, plus 120, I should say. So he's an underdog. It's one that I like. Gunnar Nelson's just totally jumping out at me. Up at the page there, I can see it. He's plus 120. And I'm like,
sorry, did you say Gunnar Nelson is plus 120?
Yeah, he's an underdog against Gil Burns.
What's Burns?
-140. I think that's a pick 'em fight. Like I say, I'm struggling with it. In my
Yeah,
opinion. It's a pick 'em fight.
yeah.
So depending
That
where
would.
that line goes, I maybe shouldn't jump on Gunnar Nelson because, um,
Ponzi.
yeah, it's that, yeah, I suppose. But also, um, anytime he's one of those guys. Once I see plus money beside his name, I feel like I need to bet him. It's the same with Krylov. I feel like I need to bet Gunnar Nelson when he's got plus money beside him. But like I say, we've got another few days before fights even take place. So I don't know where they're going to go. If the line continues to go where he's plus 130, plus 135, I'm probably going to jump in on that.
Yeah.
Plus 120, I think is good. But there's opportunities in this card for parlays, straight bets, underdogs, you name it. I
Bets.
think there's I like prop bets to look at, maybe like a Gunnar Nelson via TKO, something that you might have a small stab at. Like I said, I'd be interested to see what Hermansson is via TKO and sub. If he's plus money on that, which I don't think he will be, I would maybe have a look at that. But even like you said, you're going Jap by decision. I think that'll be big odds on that as well. So yeah, it's a good betting card. This one, it's better than last week, which was kind of a lot of mines that you kind of had to avoid. This one here, if you're sure of your spots that you like, then I would go ahead and give them a bash and see where you're going, because there's value in certain parts of the fight if you can get a good read on these fights. Nicolas Dalby, he's a big underdog. I think he's going to be a popular underdog this week. He's plus 155. He was higher than that, so the money's coming in a little. I can see that line coming down a little. I don't think he'll be round about 155 by fight time Saturday. I can maybe see him plus 125, plus 130, maybe plus 125. But as a dog bet, he's going to fight for your money. He's not going to give up on himself. So, good card. I'm looking forward to watching it. I think I go off on holiday from Saturday, so I'm looking forward to watching that. I'll not be at work, so I'll not miss it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And just again to the boys that are heading out, all the best, and enjoy your time and stay safe.
Yeah, have a good time, boys. Yeah, I'll be thinking of you, sat at home watching it, not being there live, having a great time. But anyway, folks, that's our podcast done. That's the picks done. It's the bets done. Give us your bets. Let us know what you're going with, or who you're potentially thinking about putting money on, or if you're unsure about anything, want a bit of advice or any tips, throw it down there. We'll come back to you during the course of the week. But thank you all for listening. Again, hit that sub button. We'll see you all next week. Hopefully I might have an interview out before then as well, an interview or two. But after that, we're coming back with kind of rubbish card. Main event's solid. The rest of the card is meh. We've got the Australia card happening, so we'll look forward to that one.
Yeah.
Whittaker Adesanya, that's a hell of a fight.
Yeah, it's a great main event.
Still a buddy picking.
Yeah.
Horrible matchup to think about.
See, one thing before we go, I just want to give a shout out to a fighter who was supposed to fight at Bellator this weekend, Carl Eleanor, who heartbreaking news. They found that
the
he's
brain.
got problems in his brain. He's got dark spots in his brain.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's not going to be able to fight again by all intents and purposes. But it's really nice that they went and found that. But just a really sad story that kind of came out. They said he was supposed to fight James Gallagher in the main event in Dublin this weekend. So I just want to kind of send out kind of thoughts to that dude, because that must be a tough thing considering he's a fighter and then all of a sudden it's probably going to have to be cut short because of this problem. But at least they found that he's still going to be there for his family, and hopefully it doesn't kind of really affect him kind of going forward. But just like to kind of say all the best to that guy, and know that he'll probably have a listen, but just to throw it out there from us for that, because it's pretty
shitty news. Yeah, when I heard it, when I watched this talking about it, it was really rough there. It was rough. But yeah, gosh, it's awful when that happens. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week, and enjoy the violence.